go cruising. Catalog Cruisin. Catalog Cruisin. Catalog Cruisin. Catalog Cruisin. Catalog Cruisin. Let's go cruising. Catalog Cruisin. Now that's more like it. Let's go catalog cruising.
Hello. I hope you can hear us now. Hi. Just a little bit of technical difficulties. Let me go back. Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Christi Moore. I'm a longtime tour director, and I am the tour operations manager here at Village Travel.
And I'm Danielle Geesling. I am the tour sales director here at Village.
That means that she's the big boss. She's the big kahuna. She's the head of the tour department. Yeah, man. Over the years, we've had a few people talk to us about different kinds of tours. They had a lot of questions. How do we navigate through all these tours? So we decided, how about an event to help everybody sort of learn how to do that?
Yeah, we have a lot of tours packed into this catalog, and with only 4 catalogs a year, we thought maybe it would be great to have something that just kind of highlighted, showcase maybe some of these tours that you're not necessarily seeing because there's just so many in there. We have one day's short multi-day tours all the way up to some really big, wonderful, 14-day tours. So we wanted just an opportunity to just chat and visit about that.
And we won't be able to get to all of them in this time frame, but it looks like this. And so it should have gotten to your mailbox last week. And we do have Eli standing by, right? And
hello, I am here.
Oh, good. Hi, Eli.
Hello.
He is standing by, ready to take your questions. And
yes.
Explain that to them, Eli.
Yeah, so we've got, we want this to try and be as interactive as possible. We can cruise through the catalog together. So if you have questions about any specific tours, you can mention them. There's a Q&A button down at the bottom window of your Zoom window that you're on right now. If you click Q&A, you can submit your questions there, and we'll try and interject. I may pop in and out during the meeting to ask some questions, and these ladies will be able to answer them on screen. If we're not able to get to them, we'll try and get to them outside of this call or somewhere else. But we want to try and have it be nice and interactive and fun. So I think that's everything. You can submit your questions there. And I'm going to pass it back over to you guys. Let's start cruising.
Thanks, Eli. Okay, so I think we should start with one of our most popular destinations. You feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about Branson.
Branson is a great destination. Village takes multiple tours a year to Branson, and it's been a very popular that we have been taking tours to Branson probably almost since Village started, honestly. Yeah. And it's just a very popular destination. It's a great opportunity if you're brand new to group travel that you can go and have a short little tour to kind of test out your bus legs, see if the group travel format is really the right fit for you. Or we also have all-stars that have been on many, many trips with us, and they love the Branson trips that are just short little getaways. They pack a lot of entertainment. We do something different on each tour. We try not to do the same things every time. And so it's just a really great high energy, high entertainment spot.
Yeah. And on page 10 of your catalog, you can turn there now, and we're going to talk a little bit about Branson Classics. Now, Branson Classics is the trip that takes you to see Danielle O'Donnell. And what does the O stand for? It stands for, oh my God, is that guy handsome? So many of our lady travelers love Danielle O'Donnell, and he is funny. Men love his humor. Singers love his songs, and the women just love him. So make plans to see him. He is really fantastic.
And he's only limited dates. So
exactly
you definitely want to check this out while you can.
But it's not only Danielle O'Donnell on the Classics trip. You're also going to go to the Titanic Museum. And in the Titanic Museum, if you've never been there, you arrive and they give you a card with a name on it. And that is an actual traveler that was on the fateful ship. And some live, most die. And you get to know as you journey through the museum what your fate becomes.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Have you ever lived?
No, I've never lived. I've always died.
I did once. I was unsinkable Molly Brown.
Hey.
So I lived. Yep.
All right, then you go. Yeah. Now you're also going to get to go to Dick's Five and Dime. Dick's Five and Dime is packed full of vintage games and candies and puzzles and all kinds of memorabilia from entertainment and sports. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's crazy, and it's terrible to be in Branson and not go to Dick's Five and Dime. So we're going to take you there as well.
Very unique place. Lots of different things. But you're also going to get to see Legends in concert, which is a great, it's cover bands and cover artists that are going to perform, and they look like the real deal.
Impersonators.
They're very, very good. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then we're also going to take you to Korean Country Jubilee, and that's always a fan favorite. Those guys do a great show, high energy, a lot of fun. So,
but we also have other tours, to Branson, and the rest of the year we have two others that are going to go to Branson. We have Branson at Christmas, and we also have Branson New Year's Eve. All right, now I'm in the mood. Aloha. I mean, Merry Christmas.
So that's right. We're going to turn to Branson Christmas now on page 13. Not only will you get to enjoy a brand new show, which, Branson has these classic shows that are always performers that are always performing, but then they also have some new stuff. So this year we're going to go to a new show at the King's Castle Theater, and it's called Christmas Wonderland. And so it promises to be a lot of fun. And then we also have options for lots of shopping during this trip, because Christmas will be right around the corner, and you'll definitely want to do some Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
And then the highlight of this trip, though, is really the Sight and Sound Theater. We're going to go see The Miracle of Christmas, which is the story of the Nativity.
That's amazing. And if you're not familiar with the Sight and Sound Theater, it's a 2,000 seat theater. It is beautiful. It's only been there how many years? I don't know, 6, 7, 10 years, something
probably.
like that. Their original theater is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they try out the shows there, and they feature shows based on those Bible stories that you're familiar with since you were a child. And so they've done Moses, they've done Jesus, they're just finishing up Queen Esther. So Miracle of Christmas is what we'll see on this tour. And you go there and you will see live animals on stage. You'll see wonderful technology. For Moses, they had the parting of the Red Sea that they did all with fabric and technology and lighting. And so it's amazing. So you don't want to miss Miracle of Christmas if you can swing it.
Yeah. And it's not offered every year. They alternate years that they do Miracle of Christmas. And so this is your best opportunity. Those tickets for seats for that are selling pretty fast. So definitely, if that's something you're interested in, call and get booked.
Yeah. Branson's very popular. So get your tickets now. I mean, reserve your seats on the bus right now for tickets.
Yeah.
So, hey, how about America's Treasures? Never let it be said that America doesn't have a wonderful, wonderful things to see. Am I right?
That's true.
I'm right.
That's true. This tour is kind of all of those places you learned about in history class. And it's Boston, and you get to take a city tour, the Freedom Trail, see all of those highlights that you saw.
Page 11, if you're following along.
Yeah. And, you just can't beat all of this history in real life, getting to see it all.
You'll also visit New York City. You get to go to a Broadway show. That show is to be determined, but Broadway, hey, that's a little something I know about, those of you who know me. And you'll be surprised at the size of the theater. They're more intimate than you think. So that is really something that's surprising about New York City.
Sure. Then you're going to move on to, and in New York City, you get to go to Ellis Island. And if you've had, so many people are into their history, their ancestry, and Ellis Island, that was that iconic place that everybody came through. And it's a really special place, and it's very interesting, all the historical significance there as well. But then we're going to go to Philadelphia. And we're going to go to see all of those highlights, the Liberty Bell and Revolution Hall and, Washington, D.C. You can't go, the Capitol building, all of the monuments, it is just literally walking through all these iconic historic events.
Yeah. Ford's Theater too, right?
Ford's Theater. You get to see where Abe Lincoln laughed at his last show and everything else.
Yeah. And you're also going to go to Arlington National Cemetery, and Arlington National Cemetery has quite a historical, significance, obviously, but not many people know that Robert E. Lee's family actually owned the land, and there was quite a dispute when that was going on. And so when they were creating Arlington National Cemetery, that became, it became a point of contention, and there was a lot of back and forth. But there's also so many famous people buried there. Maureen O'Hara is buried there because her husband was a military man. Obviously JFK, and you get to go see that, but also something that's very moving and a great tribute to all of the people who have ever served our country is the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. It is very somber. The precision is quite amazing, and it is something to behold. If you haven't seen that, this is worth the whole trip, in my opinion.
It's very powerful.
Yeah,
very,
really,
very
really good.
powerful, for
Mhm.
sure. So this tour is a fly in. You fly into Boston, that's where it starts. And then you actually coach all the way home on this. So you only have one flight on it. But as we come home, we're going to go to Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home. Good to see that, take a tour. There's a famous tavern nearby that you're going to go get to check out. And then we're going to also include in Nashville, Grand Ole Opry, which is one of America's treasures for sure. So we get all this history, all of these great iconic places. It's an 11-day tour, so it's a little longer, but you get to really see so many tours in one.
Yeah, it's a lot. It seems like it's a lot of vacations in one. So
Definitely.
it's all rolled together. Now
Yeah.
listen, turn to page 18.
Oh, back to America's Treasures.
Oh,
This does
sorry.
have some tight deadlines. We
Oh.
have got to get some things
Sorry.
finalized on this one very quickly. So if you are interested, please call as soon as you can and get on that list because we don't want you to miss out.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but ho, ho, ho. A brand new trip that we're offering is Christmas in New York City. And that is going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
We really, really, really. Page 18. So turn there now and you will learn all about this Christmas in New York.
So Christmas in New York, like she said, we have not offered this before. We just really wanted to give people an opportunity to see that iconic Christmas, all of those sites. You're going to get to go see the Empire State Building. And not only do you get to see a beautiful view of the city at night, but with the Christmas lights, that'll be a really special. And we don't go to the Empire State Building on very many tours.
Yeah.
This is unique. In fact, I think it's the only time this year we are going.
And it's one of the only ones we certainly would take you up inside.
Yes, exactly. Let's go to the top. We're going to go to Bryant Park. They have a Christmas market set up. So if you've ever heard about these Christmas markets, they have crafts from artisans, and New York City has some of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a really neat, fun experience there.
Yeah. You're going to get to visit Rockefeller Center, and you'll get to see the iconic Christmas tree. Every year there are gardeners and different scouts from Rockefeller Center that go and scout out for miles around, scout out to find the Rockefeller Christmas tree. And then that tree is donated and put up and lit. And it takes weeks and weeks and weeks to just put the lights on those trees. And you're going to get to see that firsthand. So that's really amazing. You'll get to see the Macy's Christmas windows that you've heard about since you were a kid. You've seen movies where they're featured, like Miracle on 34th Street. And you'll also get to see the Christmas lights on the homes along Dyker Heights in Brooklyn. And that is really beautiful. Trust me. It's really, really great. And just all those iconic things that remind you of Christmas, including the Rockettes.
You cannot go to New York City and not see the Rockettes, right? I mean,
I have a lot of
at
friends in that
Christmas.
show. So anyway, that's how I know how to
So
kick
this
like
is the
that.
first time we've offered this tour. We're very excited about that. It is a go. We have enough people that we will be taking this trip. And so, but we do still have some space. So if that's something you're interested in, let us know. And we'd love to have you join us as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Next we want you to turn over to page 24 if you're following along, and we're going to take you on the Arizona Ranch Retreat.
Hey, actually,
let's-
real quick, we had a quick question from somebody. It would be perfect while you guys are talking about this Christmas stuff. Somebody had just posted in the comments, is San Antonio Christmas, the riverboat ride, is that at night or during the day? I think in the book, they'd read that it was maybe in the afternoon. They were curious whether that was the certain time of day.
Well, I believe that it's in the evening on the festive San Antonio. festive San Antonio because you want to see those lights.
Yeah, okay,
So
good. That was what he was hoping for. He's like, I'm hoping it was in the evening. So
We'll
good.
follow up on
Verify.
that though and get back with them for sure with
Yeah.
a for sure answer.
Yeah.
perfect. Think there was a question also about activity levels. I know New York City can be a bit of a bustling, a lot of walking around. It can get pretty chaotic. So somebody had asked about it a little bit about the activity levels. Could you maybe talk a little bit and clarify some of the spectrum of those?
Yeah, so New York City for sure is we have a level 1 to level 5 is our categories. Level 5 is New York City is always going to be a level 5 just because of the amount of walking that it takes. Sometimes those buses just can't park super close. And so it can be challenging for sure. And so what we have done on page, I think it's a 2. On page, it's like the second page when you open up the catalog, we have a column here and it talks about all the different types of tour activity levels. And we have been trying to modify these a little bit to make them a little bit simpler to understand, but also kind of give you some verbiage. We don't have a lot of level 1s, the easy. We have some that are level 2, but a lot of our tours, unfortunately, are going to be in that level 3 and 4, because it's just, you do have to be able to get up and off the coach. You have to be able to walk, and some of the places we're going to do require some physical ability to be able to walk a little bit of distances, do some stairs, things like that.
yeah, and it's only right that we let you know ahead of time. And we understand that it's hard to face your limitations, but we hope that this helps you out in navigating through that a little bit, And so, when you're going to an airport, we always make your airline reservations, but we can't always determine how quickly you need to be at your next gate, how much time you have in between, or where the gate will be located. So you may have to walk long distances on a fly trip sometimes, so it's just a way for us to help you understand a little bit better on what those limitations or what would be expected of you on some of these tours.
Yeah, and sometimes we have other things besides just walking or stairs, altitude, for example, a Colorado trip or a New Mexico trip, we might set it at a 3 or a 4 just because based on the altitude and that can affect everyone in different ways.
Yeah.
So if you ever have a question about a tour though, feel free to reach out to us and ask us, what kinds of strenuous activity might be, or whether we can help decide whether for you work through that and decide if it's a good fit for you or not. So,
and as you know, sometimes you can walk, but if you have a long period of standing, might be a problem. So in museums or things when we have a guided tour, sometimes that just happens. So, but if you have a question about it, please call us. That's the way that we can educate you on what would be expected of you.
And I misspoke earlier. I said New York City was a level 5. Sometimes it feels like a level 5, but our highest level is 4.
It is.
But pretty much anything that's going to be New York City or anything international, we're going to probably set that at a level 4, our highest level, just because overnight flights, they can be quite challenging. So,
yeah. Good.
All right, Eli, you got any other questions?
I think that's it for now.
Okay, great.
All right, then let's go over to the Arizona Ranch Retreat. Now, let me tell you something. You won't be retreating from this great tour. The only thing you'll want to retreat is your relaxation. I don't know. This is a great tour for relax, rejuvenate. Man, I'm telling you, it's great. This is a cowboy's paradise. See? Anyway, just look at this. When you turn to page 24, you're going to see it's resort after resort after resort. This year, we're doing this trip. Several years ago, we did it as a all-invited trip to our all-star travelers, and they cannot stop talking about it. And neither can the tour directors.
Yeah. So it features an experience at the White Stallion Ranch where you can choose to ride horseback through the Sonoran Desert.
You won't be Sonoran on that one. I crack myself up. Oh my gosh. How many people have gotten to do that? Horseback through the Sonoran Desert? A handful of people can say they've done it. And if horses aren't your thing, You can also do other things. They have archery. They've got a beautiful pool area. You can also, for an additional charge, you can also book services at the spa to have a spa day.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really a complete day and day and a half, honestly, on your own, where you can just choose whatever activity the ranch offers. And they have all kinds of different things. You can do as little as you want, a little or as much as you want.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
you could take a hike, you could take a bike ride, you could take, literally just step by the pool all day long if you
Yeah.
want to. So they provide your food. It's just a really, really neat experience that people enjoy. And it is a dude ranch. So, you know, it is a ranch.
you don't have to be a dude to go.
No.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to a big question I know people have. I've gotten this several times on tour. So you might be asking yourself, hey, I see that there's a couple of different Florida trips in this catalog, right? So you might say Florida Fun versus Florida Getaway. Which one is the right fit for me? So you're saying, which one should I choose? And also, how can two such young, beautiful ladies know so much about all these trips?
I'm sure that's
Okay,
what
maybe
else?
not that one, but let's talk a little bit about that. So Florida Fun, you're going to travel through Texas and Alabama on your way into Florida. You're going to get to go to St. Augustine, which claims to be the oldest. I mean, they lay claim to being the oldest city in the U.S. It's founded in 1565, which is 40 plus years before the founding of Jamestown. So this is an old city, and you've got a lot of history of it, and you get to take a narrated tour through St. Augustine. So that is super exciting. So you get to learn all about that area. Then you're going to go into Key West, you know, that long, narrow road. We drive that narrow road right in our bus, and we take it to Key West. And this trip has been so popular throughout the years. It's a legacy tour. We do it every year. And several years ago, people said, you know, what would be great is if we had some extra time on our own in Key West. So we listened, and that's what we have added in. So you will get to go and have some time on your own. There's a battleship you can see. There's wonderful restaurants. Key lime pie started in Key West,
gosh,
and it's really
nice.
delicious.
Worth the trip right there.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you can go and spend your own time there on your own, but that's after you see things like the Ernest Hemingway home, where he wrote A Farewell to Arms. You know, all of the iconic things he started, For Whom the Bell Tolls, right there in that home, and you get to tour that home and see where he lived. So this is a great thing. And then you make your way back through Orlando. You get to see some great things in Orlando. You also go through Nashville and see the Grand Ole Opry, and then Little Rock, and I think Memphis too. So you see a lot of things. This is a 13-day trip, but it goes by quickly. Don't let that intimidate you, because it is so fun and you see so many things. And we hope that you'll love it. I know passengers have really, really been loving it. Now, so what are the differences from that and the Florida Getaway, Danielle? You can tell us about that.
So we wanted to offer a second option that involves Florida and some beach time. And so our winter mystery from this past year, or this year, 2024, past winter, we did a tour where we went down to Panama City Beach. We're staying there for 3 nights.
Yeah.
And it was so popular. People really enjoyed that tour. And so we decided to make it a regular tour. So the great thing about it is a little shorter than the Florida Fun in Key West. You're not going quite as far, but you still do get that day on your own to enjoy the beach. And the resort is right on the beach. So it's right there. But we also have lots of other fun things on that. We're going to see some museums, and we're going to go to a winery. We have a sunset cruise. And we just, you know, when you have your free day, there's all kinds of choices for you to go choose from, and we will help you kind of figure out which one would be the best for you. But they have a zoo, they have a marine world, You could just sit on the beach, or you could go to Senor Frogs and
Yeah.
have a little margarita if you wanted.
That's
you
that's
know.
a fun place to eat.
So, there's just a lot packed into that. But then on the way there and on the way home, we've also got some great stops to keep you entertained on the bus ride as well. One of the things we are doing on the way home, we're going to go to, in Alabama, we're going to Muscle Shoals.
Oh,
Which is like the iconic place. It's like the Abbey Road of Alabama. Just some super famous and probably a lot of people you didn't realize recorded some of their famous albums at Muscle Shoals and their recording studios. And it's like you step back into time. Those studios are pretty much how they were when those people were there. So it's pretty amazing experience. And so you get to see that. And it's just a nice, fun trip if you have already done the Florida Fun and you're looking for a different thing to do. But this is a great one if you're looking for something shorter, if you're looking, just for just a time to get away from the Kansas and Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas weather of the winter.
yeah.
Head down to Florida and get some sand.
It sounds like 8 days of great getaway gusto to me.
Yeah.
But speaking of great getaways, we offer, and this catalog features a lot of great international tours. So let's start with the Rhine River
Sure.
Cruise, the Enchanting Rhine River Cruise, and that you're going to find on page 36 and 37. So turn there now if you're not familiar.
So this is a European river cruise. Very, very popular cruise. Probably one of our most popular for Europe as well. We've done the Danube with the Rhine. And this one is on Alma Waterways, which does a fantastic job for us. You fly into Switzerland and we'll have a couple days on land before you actually get onto the boat. So you get to see Lake Lucerne and see those areas. And it's beautiful, beautiful places. And what I love about the Alma cruises and these boats is they're small. This is not like the big Caribbean cruises and the thousands of people on a ship. These ships only hold 165. And so it's a very intimate, very small experience.
Yeah, I took this trip last fall in October, and I took 30 people with me, and we were 30 of the 134 that were on the ship, and it was amazing. What I really love about Alma Waterways, you pay your fee, you pay us to take you over there, and you go, and we have our days, and you'll get some Switzerland time, like Danielle said, but if you have an excursion that you want to take, and they have all different levels, you can take a bike tour, you can take a winery walking tour, you can take a historic tour of the cathedral. There's all kinds of things, beer tasting, but all of those excursions are included in the price of your trip. So you don't have to add anything on. Beer and wine are always offered with each meal. So if you if you partake, you can have your beer with a lunch and a glass of wine with dinner, and those are not additional charges like they are on some of the bigger ships. So I love that. And so it's an amazing trip. That's something that'll fill up fast,
Hey,
won't it?
Yeah.
we had a question that just came in that
Okay.
talking about cruises, this is a perfect time to answer it. Somebody asked about what are the onboard crew gratuities that it says that are not included in the price. Can you talk a little bit about what are those for? And maybe they asked for an example of what kind of dollar amount are we talking for gratuities on the ships?
Okay,
Sure.
So that is the amount of gratuities that are for the ship staff. You have your room steward, you have all your servers, all of those folks that help out on the ship. And so this is something it's a mandatory kind of gratuity from the cruise line. And it really depends on the cruise line of how much the dollar amount is. But good rule of thumb, I think most of them are between $17, $18 a day. And they will automatically charge that. Now, you do have the ability to take it off if you felt like you did not get good service. But these guys are working really hard, and I would say for the most part, they're earning all of that. You just want to make sure you have that kind of that figure in your head as a budget for what it's going to be, so it's not a surprise at the end.
And that automatically gets added to the credit card that you have attached to the cruise. And if you choose to forego that at check-in on the cruise line, you can tell them, I'd rather pay that in cash, and you can go down
Yeah.
and settle up with that. And how they do that is they pool all of that money and disperse it out equally to all the different people who are getting that gratuity on the ship. That's how that works. And so if you love your evening server and you want to slip him a $20 bill, you can also do things like that.
They will always accept that as well.
Yeah.
But that's just something that the cruise line is going to do anyway. So that's why we put that on the itinerary. And we definitely give you more information about all of those things. But I would say $17 to $20 a day is probably what you want to budget for that.
Yeah.
And just to clarify, that would be the person asked again, is that's in addition to any tips that they wanted to provide to the village tour directors.
Yeah, that's a separate thing. So your village tour director, our suggested gratuity is $5 per person per day. That is a separate gratuity. The gratuity that we're talking about, the onboard one, is for the ship's staff.
So
it's different.
Yeah, that's two separate things.
Yeah. So driver director gratuities are the $5 per person per day.
Awesome. That sounds nice and easy.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Hey, well, let's talk about, you want to move on to the British
let's do it.
landscapes? Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So this is on page 43. And all I can say is to be or not to be on this tour. That's not a question. Be on this tour. It's going to be amazing. You're going to go to Stratford upon Avon, which is the home of William Shakespeare. If you didn't know, that's from Hamlet. Anyway, you're also going to go to Oxford University. Look, you can tell people that you were attending Oxford University. They're not going to know the difference, and it wouldn't be a lie, right? I mean,
kind of.
Well, okay. Anyway,
you go to Trafalgar Square, where the infamous battle took place, and a statue of George Washington stands. Even though he swore he was never going to step foot in England again, so I guess technically he didn't lie.
Right.
But you get to see Edinburgh, Scotland, you get to see England and all its highlights. We have often done a tour that's Scotland and Ireland together, but we wanted to give you guys an opportunity. We don't go to England a lot. And so we wanted to give the opportunity to get to see a little bit more in depth of the English area, the England area, and then you get to go up to Scotland and see it. And those two just go together so perfectly to see both.
Well, and in Scotland, you might even get to learn the Highland dance. That goes like this.
I'm sure
Yes.
that's exactly how it goes.
But you should, but if you find an international trip that you want to go, that you'd like to reserve, I really highly recommend, and I think Danielle would agree, book it soon because they fill up, and also our deadlines are further out for those international trips because we book all of our trips 10 to 12 months in advance, but the deadlines for flights and all the things that we do on these international trips are earlier than they are for, some of the trips that are later.
And some of our international trips, we already have in the pipeline tours for 2026. So
that's 2 years from now.
We're really, those have to be much further out. And what happens sometimes is that we have a tour that someone calls and wants to get on, and we've already had to give up some space. And then we could try to get you on, but then the price isn't locked in anymore. So the earlier, if you are interested in that, definitely get on it as soon as you can.
Speaking of that, tours filling up. Somebody had asked specifically about wait lists. They said that they had an instance where they called in to make a reservation and they told them that the trip was already full and that they were going to put them on a wait list. Can you talk a little bit? How does the wait list system works on high demand tours like that?
So if we don't have any spaces left, it goes onto a wait list, and I highly, highly, highly encourage you get on that wait list because often if someone cancels off, we're going to go to that wait list first and try to fill it from there. And that happens multiple times. Our Alaska this year was pretty much completely sold out. And we had several people that ended up, for one reason or another, had to drop out. We were able to get people on from that wait list. But the other thing that wait list does for us is if I have enough interest and I can put another tour together, I will. For example, Festive San Antonio right now is sold out. But I'm working on a second departure because we've had enough people that are interested in it. Arkansas Missouri Railroad is another one for the
Branson-
Tulsa.
Branson.
Yeah,
Hall.
Branson
Pretty
Esther.
answer.
So definitely get on that wait list, and we will call you and let you know if we have enough interest. I'm always wanting to add a second one if I can.
So that leads me to something, a topic that I'd love to have you cover is if people see something in the catalog and let's say they go online or they call and it's full, maybe that means it's been on the website. Is that how?
Yeah.
That works?
So the catalog deadlines, since we're only doing 4 a year now, we used to pre-pandemic, we did 6. So what we are doing is as soon as we have a tour ready, we are launching it online. We'll send out emails often. So there are times that when this catalog comes out, some of these tours have actually been launched for a couple months at least. And so just if you can, make sure you're on our email list. We often send out alerts for that on our social media, those kinds of things. But often that's what has happened is that, you call and it's already full. It's because it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So
So
don't
keep
wait
an eye-
till the catalog hits your mailbox.
So keep an eye on the website if you can. Those get launched earlier. And also we'll talk a little bit here in a little while about upcoming tours and how to use your smartphone to learn more about how to get on a list of things to do. But let's talk about Italy because
this is another.
So I have been a tour director for 10 years. And I think the last time we did a sole Italy trip, I think maybe I'd been with the company a couple of years. I did not get to go, Jeff. But anyway, I have history with Italy. My grandfather actually came through Ellis Island that we talked about before, born in Naples, and he came right through it. So you like it to eat? You're gonna love it this tour, eh? Hey, that's my Italian. Linguine, fettuccine, arrivederci. Anyway. What are they going to do? They're going to see, the Sistine Chapel, which of course has stood since 1483. The beautiful thing about going to Europe, you think that our country is old when you go to see Plymouth Rock and things like that out east. And we're talking about the 1600s. We're talking about 200 years before that. 1483. That's a lot of years. And you'll see Michelangelo's creation of David. This almost like ET phone home. And not everyone can say that they've done that. So it's worth it, it's worth it.
Yeah, and they get to go to Venice, which is, I didn't realize this, but it's built on 126 islands, these towns.
Oh.
You get to take the gondola ride,
you do?
canals, things like that. You have those opportunities to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh man, that sounds delicious.
It's really an immersive tour of Italy, and we're really excited about this one. We've been trying to pick, there's the tours that go like Treasures of Europe, where it hits a little sampler of lots of different countries.
Yeah.
We really like the idea too, though, of giving people opportunity to go back and just really experience and be immersed in specific places. And this is one of those tours that you will be immersed in Italy.
Yeah. And the Leaning Tower of Pisa sounds delicious. Anyway, but don't wait. If you want to go to Italy, don't wait. Book it soon. I mean, that's a bucket list trip. I mean, we've got a lot of these bucket list trips. We're, look through this catalog because we've got some really fun international things,
some
coming
new
up.
things that we have not done before. So we're really excited to offer that.
Great. Well, do you want to talk a little bit about the sneak peek?
Yeah, let's talk about that. So let's turn to it's 46. And I have a couple things I want to point out about this page. The first one is at the top there, the Irish Adventure and KSU football.
Oh yeah.
So we've gone to Ireland, I think almost every year. We always take a group, and it is a fan favorite. It is a fantastic trip. It's one of my favorite places to go. But the only thing that can make it better is the opportunity to go watch K-State play football there, right? And we've had a lot of phone calls about this trip if we were going to offer it. So we are working on this. We have just been waiting on a couple final pricing details. But we should be having this launched very soon. We wanted to definitely give you a heads up that it was coming. If you are interested in this or any of the other tours that are listed here below, Paducah, any of our Alaska, any of these Calgary Stampede Glacier National Park, there's a QR code here beside it. If you just scan that with your camera, it'll take you to a link that you can sign up and tell us what you're interested in, what you want to be notified when something is launched. And as soon as we have it ready, we will contact you and let you know that it is ready to book. I really highly recommend, if you are interested in Alaska, and that is something that you want for 2025, you want to do some Alaska with us. I would do that for sure, because we are finalizing those right now. I do anticipate that we will have them launched within the next month or so. And it will be well before the next catalog goes out in November. And so, I don't want you to miss out. This year, I had so many people, it made me so sad that, came and talked to us. They were calling in April or May, wanting to get on an Alaska trip for that summer. And we couldn't do it. We were already sold out. So you want to jump on those as soon as they come out.
And there's a new one, right? Alaska's Great Outdoors.
Yeah, this is a tour that it really is just like a giant circle land trip of Alaska. It does some of the things we have done in the past, but it also goes to some areas that we have not gone before. And so we're really excited to be able to change it up just a little bit and offer.
Well, the nice thing about Alaska is we offer all kinds of different variation of, so if you wanted to do just land, you fly to Anchorage or Fairbanks and you take just a land tour, but we also do just a cruise if you wanted to go on just that inside passage.
Yeah.
A little bit of something for everybody as far as that Alaska goes.
Definitely. And there's even an Alaska, if you, in the catalog here, we have an Alaska Northern Lights, which we've always done summer Alaska. This is the first time we're offering a winter adventure where you have a better chance to see the Northern Lights. You get to see more of that winter landscape. And I went a few years ago, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's a really magical experience. And if you've been in there summer when the crowds are there, it is an absolute complete experience in the winter. So you might check that out if you are looking for something Alaska different as well.
Yeah. Well, and clearly we have so many tours that we couldn't cover in just this amount of time. So you can always call us if you have questions about any of these tours. As a director for 10 years, I've been on over 180 trips now. And so I've been on many of them. So if you have questions, you can ask for me. You can ask for Danielle. Yeah. We'll be happy to answer. And our reservationists can also
great
help
about
you
all
very
of
much.
that.
So anything you have a question about, the beautiful thing about going with Village, though, is you choose your trip and it's the last decision that you have to make.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll take you and say, would you like to eat at this restaurant or that restaurant? You can choose that. But other than that, we handle everything, all the logistics. We make sure that everything is going to go smoothly for you. And we do it all. And so it's really a great way to travel. You get to see the same things on a bus tour. If you see a beautiful landscape, so does your husband. He's not driving.
Yeah.
So leave the driving to us, and we put the fun back in travel. That's what we say, right? And so you'll have a great time because you'll always have a tour director. You'll always have a great driver. And Village is award-winning for safety and maintenance. We also recently won an award for our environmental efforts. So we're trying to do everything in the right way. And the current ownership, Jeff and Norm Arnsdorf, are great folks to work for. And I think that if you come along with us, you're going to have a great time.
Definitely.
I really do. Eli, is there any more questions?
Yes, we do actually have several questions that I think if we can kind of rapid fire, I think we could probably get through a lot of these.
Okay.
First person asked the Montreal and Quebec City Christmas that's in the coming soon.
Yes.
They asked for the specific dates, which I happen to have.
Okay.
So the dates for that tour are December 10th through 14th of 2025. So it's way out there in advance, but we're finalizing some details. But Danielle, do you have anything you want to share about that tour?
Yeah, so we're really excited about this one. This is a new one for us. That Quebec City area is so, it feels like you're in Europe. And so we wanted to offer a Christmas markets opportunity that you didn't have to leave North America. You know, you don't have to have that overnight flight. It's a little closer to home. And so I don't have a ton of details. We are working on it. We are waiting to get air. If air is too far out for us to get a quote on that quite yet, but keep an eye on that. I expect that we will have that launched very definitely by then, probably the next catalog.
Okay. And
it's
is this
only
a
5 days, so that's good.
Yeah. Is this a Colette tour?
No, it is not. It's a different. We have a different partner for that one, but it'll be really a nice tour.
Awesome. They asked specifically about that. Somebody mentioned I know we got Alaska tours coming up. There was several that somebody mentioned. I hope these are coming back. Maybe you can, off the top of your head, tell them if we're going back to some of these places.
Okay.
Calgary Stampede was one that people asked about. Will that be coming back?
That actually, we are working on that. That will happen in July of 25. That'll be actually the tour that will take our Alaska coach up to Alaska. We'll go up and do Glacier National Park, Calgary Stampede, the Canadian Rockies, and then that group will fly home from Vancouver. So yeah, it is coming.
They also mentioned some locations like Banff, Glacier National Park. They mentioned something about a train ride across Canada. Is that one that you guys have done before? Is that
We're doing the Canadian, the Rocky Mountaineer, which is the kind of the iconic train, more luxury experience across Canada this year. So we won't be doing that one next year. That one probably won't come back until 26. But I do have a couple other Canadian Rockies trips in the pipeline. I can't talk about them quite yet. But definitely stay tuned. There will be several opportunities to get up to the Canadian Rockies. We also have a couple opportunities to get you to Glacier National Park. We are working on a couple of those.
And the Canadian Rockies, if you've never been to the Canadian Rockies, I think it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been and seen.
It's really spectacular.
I want to get on one of those the Rocky Mountaineer trips. Those trains are swanky. That's more my speed.
Yeah. Now, the Rocky Mountaineer, I will put out this little tidbit. We are doing, last year we did the Rocky Mountaineer, the version that happens from Moab, Utah to Denver. And we are going to offer that. That will be being launched shortly. We are just about to have all the final details on that one. That's a coach only tour that will happen at the very end of September and next year. And so it'll be a perfect time to see the Aspens, hopefully in full color. And the people that went on that tour last year loved it. It's a very, very nice experience. So put that on your radar.
Another question, are there any fall foliage trips still for this fall that are still open for reservation?
Yes. Actually, we have a couple, but you have to act fast. One is called Colors of New England. Do you know what page that's on?
I find it.
It is in this catalog. Colors of New England. It's that
Page
iconic,
9.
Yeah, page 9. Iconic fall foliage tour. You know, it's got New Hampshire, Vermont, fly in and out of Boston, and it's a really nice trip. And I'm actually really shocked we have some seats left on this one because it's always very, very popular. And it goes at a great time.
It's fabulous. You go to the Morse Sugar Farm, and that's where they make maple syrup, and you get to see the history of how it is. And there's a gentleman named Burr that will talk to you and lead you through that, and you can buy all kinds of different grades of maple syrup, and that's fabulous. Also, you get to go to the Norman Rockwell Museum, so you can see all of his sketches and just all kinds of great things. That's amazing. I did that tour several years ago, and it was wonderful. You also get to have dinner at Cheers, so we want you to book that trip, if you can, because it is really great. It's a 9-day trip, so not quite as long as some of the others.
It's
so
great.
it's good.
There's just a ton of great sites in that.
And you should see good color. You should see good color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had me at syrup.
The other one that I would also give a shout out to is right next to it in the catalog, I believe, is Autumn Mountain Adventure. So if you're looking for more of a Smoky Mountains fall foliage opportunity, that is the one you want, because this one actually comes comes home through the Smoky Mountains and Val, that beautiful color there. And so
Bowling Green,
there's all
Kentucky.
kinds of great attractions on that one as well. So, but both of those you would want to act fast because we're having to finalize air and all of those kinds of things.
Okay. Will there be any river cruises on the Danube River? Somebody said that they had attended the Rhine cruise and they loved it. They're looking for that Danube River cruise.
Yeah. So we actually have, we kind of try to alternate a little bit. But we decided this time around to do the Rhine again. We've had enough popularity with that. I would expect maybe 26 we'll be looking at the Danube or an alternate to do something different. I can't promise that, but that's kind of on our radar right now.
Okay. What about Amish back roads? Will that be coming around again in April-ish?
We're actually going to take a break from that for this spring, and try to maybe do something different. But I imagine it will be back for 26. Some of our legacy tours, we're trying to start kind of alternating, just because it just wasn't as popular this year as it had been in the past. So we thought we'd give it a break. But anytime you're interested in stuff like that, if I know I have enough people, I am happy to put something together and to put it out there. So, it's important for you guys to let us know where you want to go, what you're looking to do, because that we want to definitely take people where they are interested in.
Yeah.
Awesome. The Alaska by rail, is it totally on the Alaska Railroad Gold coach? Is that this? I assume this is the specific train that they're asking
Yes
about?
and no. We try to get the gold, but it's not always available. And so sometimes, but I'll tell you what, I've been on the adventure class a few times, and it's a fantastic experience too. I mean, especially on the Alaska by rail, my favorite train ride is the train ride from Anchorage to Seward. I think that is the most spectacular scenery. And so you spend so much time looking at the scenery. You still have access to a car with the glass dome ceiling. And so we try to be on the gold. I just can't promise it because it's often about availability. So
yeah. Okay, we got just a few more. You guys are doing good.
Thanks.
We've got you mentioned about wait lists and sort of being able to evaluate if there is a wait list filling up, adding extra departures. Someone had asked about the Arkansas Railroad trip. I believe this is the Arkansas, Missouri, the 1 day. I assume.
Sure.
If you were to do another one, how do you evaluate whether it's going to depart from Wichita or Tulsa or anything like that?
So that one is always going to depart from Tulsa. That's one of the few 1 days that I can't really do that as a Oklahoma City or a Wichita market. It's just too far. Tulsa, it works perfect to do it as a 1 day. So we do actually do that same train trip though on Autumn and Mount Magazine, and that is offered in all of our locations. So, and it's, I think, full for this year, but that would be an opportunity, for you next year if that train trip, but it is a 4-day trip.
And
Cool.
for those of you who don't know, the Department of Transportation limits how many hours our drivers can drive, and that is at the benefit of our passengers, so that we don't have drivers that are driving too far. So we are great rule followers in that regard, and so that's what she means by it's a little too far. So
Yeah.
we can't leave at 4 a.m. to go there to get on the train and then bring it back and have our driver drive too many hours.
Yeah. We had a question. This is an interesting one. Somebody said they live in Amarillo. If they were wanting to go on a trip that goes through there both ways, do you ever pick people up along the way?
That's a great question. So we do offer alternate pickup for our passengers. But what our policy is that we are happy to do so if it is a planned stop already. So our passenger, our question from Amarillo is a perfect example. Let's say it's the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. We always go to Amarillo on the way out and on the way back. And so, yes, we'd be happy to add you to the bus there in Amarillo. But let's talk about Branson, for example. If we're going to Branson from Wichita, we stop in Parsons, let's say, and we would pick someone up in Parsons. We also stop in Joplin. We could pick people up in Joplin. But if it's already a planned pit stop for a restroom break or a meal break, that's the way we do it. We can't add stops every 15 minutes because that would just delay us. And we try to stay very close to the schedule that has been planned by these girls that work very hard in the planning department. So we can't do every stop, but if it's already a planned stop, and yes, we travel through Amarillo both ways, we absolutely can pick you up there.
Got it.
And
That's
that
awesome.
also goes into that driver's hours as
Sure,
well. If
sure.
it's a departure day where they have to get pretty far down the road, too many stops, it messes with that time.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. There's one asking about the Panama trip coming up in February.
Uh-huh.
I assume that's the Panama Canal cruise.
Yes.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about that? They were just asking, can you talk a little bit more about what that kind of entails?
Sure. It's a coach and cruise, which is so there's no flying involved in that particular tour. We coach down to Galveston and you get on the ship there, and then I believe it's a 10-day cruise. Sorry, I have too many tours in my head. The one thing about this is that it does not, it goes down to that area and then it comes back to Galveston. So that's where it's not it doesn't transfer completely through the Panama Canal.
12-day total.
And 12 days. So when you get down there though, there's opportunities to take excursions that will take you to the actual canal, and you get to see all the inner workings. And it's actually, I think, a little bit better way to see it because it's a smaller ship. You get to kind of see that. I know a lot of people that they're like, oh, I've got to go through the whole thing. And then they do it and they're like, okay, that wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be. And then there's air involved out of two different, places. And so a lot of people, we've been doing the coaching cruise this way because people really like that they don't have to fly.
Yeah.
And so it's a good experience for us.
And the coaching cruise, we stay in just north of Houston on a coaching cruise. That first night you go to stay in a Drury hotel, usually right there in the Woodlands, Texas, just north of Houston. And then you drive on in to Galveston that next day. And then on the way home, you make it all the way back. So, it's a great way to travel. If you're not a flyer and you'd love to do a cruise, that's it's a great option for you, and
Awesome.
it's really, really fun. Yeah.
Awesome. The very last question
Okay.
is about the Rose Parade tour.
Okay.
Somebody was just interested in that one. They said, is it a pretty popular tour? What's
It
kind of
is.
benefits of going down there to see that parade rather than just watching it on TV from home?
Well, I've actually done that tour quite a few times, and I love it. It is just something to see. There's just something about having those floats go by you. And the lovely thing about what we do is we usually have bleachers that you sit in. So you're not like, you're not in a lawn chair, you're not standing. We have bleachers that we reserve. Also, you get a chance to get up close and personal, watching the final touches being put on the floats from up above. There's a skywalk in one of the buildings that you can go and see that up close. You also get to do a lot of great other things as well. We go to Warner Brothers. We do
Reagan
the
Library.
Reagan the Reagan National Library, and that is in a beautiful setting in Northern California. And so it's something that I always tell people, if you've watched this parade for years, don't pass up the opportunity to see it in person because it really is quite spectacular. My mother always wanted to go and she never got to. And so I try to tell people, see it when you can, because it really is worth it. It really is a great, great trip.
And that one is selling fast. So if you are interested, I know I sound like a bit like a broken record, but we've had a lot of tours that since we sent Catalog to publish the publisher on August 6th. And since that time, we've actually had a lot of reservations. So some of these tours are starting to really fill up. So that
that's
was one of them. I just noticed my numbers
And
yesterday.
the post parade is coach only, right? So
Yeah,
so it's
coach
11
out.
days, right? And so you go out through the desert, like don't you
Mhm.
see Joshua Tree or
Palm Springs
and all
and
that? Okay.
through Vegas, and yeah, there's like Havasu. There's some really great things.
Oh
on
yeah,
there.
it's a beautiful trip. So do it. Call in.
Wonderful. Well, someone said in the Q&A, they said that this has been super helpful and informational, and they asked if we'll be doing more like this. So that's a perfect segue out to close out our time together. I'll let you guys take that away.
Thank you, Eli.
Yeah.
Thank you for standing by and taking questions. We really appreciate it. And yes, our plan is to do this at least every catalog, but stay tuned for other things because we are hoping to do a lot more things on social media. And we want to give you, educational things about everything that's going on at Village. This company has grown so much. And we like to educate our travelers on all the other things that are going on in Village, in the Village family. And all the Village umbrella has a lot of different divisions. And so we want to educate you to that, but also the trips that we offer. And we want to be helpful however we can. So if you have an idea of what you'd like to learn about, let us know. I mean, we'd love to put that together for you.
We have lots of ideas, lots of tours that are in the pipeline. And so feedback, this was a new thing for us.
Yeah.
And we're so thankful that you guys have chosen to join us live. And if you're watching this later as a video, we do hope it was helpful. And, any feedback, we'd love to hear it, but definitely tell us what you're interested in and what you want to know about. We really want to equip you guys with all of the information so we can have a great partnership with all of you.
Yeah. And come and see us soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.